Welcome back everyone to Punny Plays the Brawler, where I am bringing back some artifacts that I found within Angalach. Let's see if anyone can identify them.
Ah!
What are these? No lore master am I, and yet I know these to be works of old, and works of good. Whether Gondor or Elf-made is beyond my ken. I thank you for trusting me with these. I swear that I will see them sent back to Minas Tirith and set in the scholar's hands. Alright. And, oh yes, I found the lock here.
It is worse than I feared. Worse by far.
I will tell you this, Brawler. I believe the flaw was always in the captain's character. Udun was but a flood that showed us the weakness in the flood wall. You did all that you could, more than most men would be capable of. We are in a hostile land, and peril is ever at the soldiers' heels. Only this was an awful sort of peril, was it not? Oh, it certainly was. The pauldrons here aren't quite as good as the ones that I got when I valored, but they do have one advantage, and that is they have light in them, which brings me up to a full 10 light. Now, I think it's time for me to speak to Mithrandir. There's Iorzun, and here's Mithrandir.
To linger so near to Anglach is unwise.
I saw a group of treasure seekers returning from Udun, so I know that you did your duty and compelled them to return. They do not value their lives as greatly as they value their treasure. If they continue on this course, they will soon have neither. Treasure makes fools of all men. To linger so near to the mines and foundries of Anglach is unwise, for these seekers of treasure, or indeed for anyone. Who can say what foul work was undertaken for Sauron at Anglach, or what terrible craft was done there in the name of his war? What? You have a comment, Iorzun?
He fancies himself a wizard, does he? Iorzun knows about wizards.
None know who made what was made at Anglach. But that is already not right, for I know well the great ram Gron was made there, and reads it all about with spells. I saw it destroy the gates of the tall city myself, and if things had gone otherwise, there would have been no stopping it. Yes, I was in the war councils, and I heard the plans for Gron. Can this so-called wizard claim that? No, he cannot. It was a matter of pride for me, Iorzun the included. But now I have been replaced by Ortakul, no doubt. He will not last. That at least is cause for comfort. Iorzun the replaced, it sounds like. What do you say, Mithrandir?
He is impudent, and he is impolite, and he is abrasive.
Oh, anything else? Well, he may also be useful. I've had an idea. Uh-oh.
Mordor has been closed to the eyes of Gondor for more than 1,000 years.
Mordor's been closed ever since the fall of Durthan and the expulsion of the Thondri. What transpired beneath the shroud of Gorgoroth remains unknown to us, and it brewed a bitter cup of rumor, and worry, and fear. That was in aid of Sauron's plans as ever, for he knew that the uses of fear better than any creature in Middle-earth. But we have one thing in our keeping who has witnessed the last days of the War of the Ring from the other side. Iorzun walked in Mordor when the peoples of Gondor, and indeed of all Middle-earth, could not pass the bounds of the lands. What did he see? What does he know? He claims that he was involved in the High Councils of War. Perhaps that is true, and perhaps not. But there is no question that he may have knowledge of Sauron's lieutenants that we simply do not. Can he be forgiven for his crimes? If he can be so forgiven, he might be given a new life in Gondor in exchange for the information that he possesses about Mordor and the power structure of the Black Lands after the downfall of Sauron. Speak to Aragorn. It must be he who forgives Eorzin of these crimes, if any will. Right. Well, he seems to be here at the moment.
I have considered making a place in Gondor for the Nunhoff, but does Eorzin merit the same treatment?
The Nunhoff were cruelly mistreated by the overlords in Udun and elsewhere. Freedom was just a distant, half-remembered tale to them. But Eorzin led armies against us. He commanded his people to fight during the war, and many good men died in the Kundalor blaze before the White City. This is not an easy choice to make. The words of Mithrandir have not oft led me astray, Pine Punch. Eorzin will be given a new start in Gondor in return for knowledge he can give us of Mordor. Speak with the wagon driver, Rothnor, and arrange for Eorzin's passage to the city. Alright.
What's that? Another fellow needs passage back to the city.
I'll accommodate him. There won't be much room, but I've got a little bit more space if folk are willing to sit close. Eorzin the Squeezed, apparently. Oh, what does Eorzin the Squeezed have to say about this? He stood up.
What is it?
How grand! An offer of pardon from Gondor? I spit on that offer! I am not interested in the charity of this king. I have not yet decided which side in the contest will be the victor. Why then would I ally myself with any of you? I've seen nothing to prove that Gondor will triumph in the days to come, but I know of many dangers that lurk still in Golgoroth, waiting. Your people have brought Nirnhoth back to the Black Gates and freed them from their captivity. I have an exercise for you. Speak these names to them and ask yourself why I would side with Gondor when there are foes in Golgoroth such as these still alive, still active, and still angry. Speak the name of Dagobeth. Speak the name of Ugrachor. Speak the name of Urudani. Does Gondor possess such terrors as these? I think it does not. Well, I've heard of Ugrachor at least. Right? I'm pretty sure I've heard of Ugrachor. But what else have we got? Ah, Nirnhoth. Hi there.
Ugrachor knows no mercy. He delights in death.
His face is terribly scarred, but not always. They say Sauron punished him for something, held him to the fire. Ugh, he sounds like a nasty one. Well, considering the story of Durthang, yeah, I know he's a nasty one.
You should not speak of Urudani.
They say that if you speak Urudani's name, she hears it and will come. Her kiss is death, her embrace torment. Have we not suffered enough? Let the stone maiden slumber, and awaken her not. And I guess that means you get the third one of these.
He was the mouth of Sauron. Vile knights rode at his command.
They plucked me from my village by the sea and marched me long leagues to Udun, where I was put to work at the forges. I only saw the mouth once from afar, and he was too busy with Sauron's errands to spend time tormenting the Nirnhoth. Sauron is gone, and the mouth has a leash. It is now off of him. We should not be speaking of him here, so close to Mordor. It will bring ill fortune. Speak no more of me of him. Well, I've heard about the Sauron also. Alright, fine. Well, they're certainly not pleased to hear those names.
Do you see? Sauron may be gone, but his servants were many.
There are many servants, beings of power and terror. I have not seen anything of Gondor that can hope to stand against even these three, and that is not the full extent of his lieutenants. And so I became Eorzan the Unwilling, and refused this so-called king's offer of pardon. I will remain between the realms until I taste which way the wind blows, Pine Punch. For now the breeze is rank, and it comes from Gorgoroth. He needs time to think.
I believe Eorzan will still be useful to us.
Indeed, he's already been useful, for I think this artifact that he stole from Durthang can be made to serve our purpose. And further, he has given us the idea of the evils that wait within Gorgoroth. The shadow that hangs in Mordor is too deep for you to pierce without powerful help. But pierce it you must if you are to combat the villains to whom he spoke. Alright, there we go. I have studied the artifact that Eorzan stole from the vaults of Durthang. It bears a powerful corruption, but it is not made in the lands of Mordor. It came from elsewhere, and the corruption that envelops it stems from a long stay in the Black Land. If this evil could be cleansed, I believe that Elrond could imbue it with the powerful and vital force of good. Before that can happen, however, we must do something about the corruption that Mordor has worked upon it. There are different methods to accomplish this, though the wise disagree on the effectiveness of each. My preferred means of such a cure is to bring the corrupted item to the place where it was made, or the place of some significance along its path, and to thereby diffuse the foul touch of Mordor that it has, in the interim claimed it. We must learn the story of this heirloom before it came to Mordor. The wizard turns the artifact over in his hands, studying it for some clue of its origin. To your eye, the heirloom is a golden necklace, ordinary save for the large ruby in its center. Oh, hold on. This isn't going to be one of those crazy necklaces worn by the people working with Wormtongue, is it? This chain is broken and cannot have been easily worn for some time. It looks familiar to you. Familiar, you say, kind of fast, stroking his beard? How so? You tell him that it shares a resemblance of one worn by a man called Umin in tunnels beneath the Forsaken Inn of the Lone Lands. Umin had been ensnared by the villainous spirit inhabiting a necklace that looks just like this one, and breaking its hold upon the man was not been easy. Oh, I didn't... Oh boy, we are going to real obscure ones if we're going to the Inn of the Forsaken. Let us hope that no such spirit bedevils this necklace, Pine Punch, but there is some foulness about it all the same. If you find this Umin, he may help you to cleanse the corruption and rethink it. I say it is time for you to return to the Forsaken Inn, my friend. Anlaf of the Forlorn may know where you can find this Umin now. Right. Where am I going to find Umin? Well, I hope I don't have to run that instance. This is, of course, the class quest that I've been waiting to see how it's handled with brawlers. So let's see what Onlof has for us.
I'm sorry. Did you need something?
You say you're looking for Umin? Why do you want to do that? He comes in here from time to time looking for all the world as if he's thinking to just curl up in a corner and never move again. Doesn't buy so much as a single mug of ale, neither. He just sits and stares, and eventually he gets up every time he leaves. I think I'll never been seeing him again, but I've never had that luck before, and I still haven't. He was just here, actually. If you leave the inn, you might see him across the way. Whatever stupor he's in isn't caused by my drink. That I do know. He's just a defeated man. Alright, then let's go and find Umin then. Just across the way. I had a feeling when he said he was a defeated man, he meant that he'll be inside that stone circle. So I'm pretty sure that's where he is. Well, considering that he was a boss that you defeat in an instance, I suppose that's to be expected. Well, okay, he's not right at the stone circle, but close enough. Hello there. Wait, what are you doing here, Pine Punch? Why did you bring it back to me? You hastily hide the necklace from his sight, and he takes a moment to calm himself. You ask him what has troubled him, and he frowns. Need you ask? You remember that heirloom of my family? The thief's stolen necklace we at the last recovered from the tomb of the caverns beneath the Forsaken Inn? It guided my thoughts for so long, and when I finally unearthed it, the spirit held within so dominated my mind that I turned upon my friends. I was powerless to resist the spirit of the necklace, but worst of all, now that they're gone, the spirit and the necklace both, I do not know what to do. And now you have returned with the necklace, and so occupies even my waking minute. You tell Ulun that you found this necklace in Mordor. For it to have been the same one that so troubled him seemed unlikely, but Gandalf believes that it might be possible to cleanse the corruption that enveloped it. But it is so like the other. What if this corruption is the result of another spirit's presence, Pine Punch? What will we do then? What do we do then? Oh, we gotta go back to that ship? I returned to those caverns once, Pine Punch. The riddle doors were open, the spike traps deactivated. It was as if the guiding force that hindered our progress had undone itself, its purpose spent. I came all the way to the ship, but, like me, it remained an empty vessel. I returned to the surface, aimless and disappointed. You ask him why he went back to the underground after his experience with the haunted necklace, and he stares off into the distance. I think I did, hoping that the spirit would return and tell me what to do, but I received no such guidance. In the weeks that followed, I came often to the Forsaken Inn, waiting for someone to tell me what to do, someone to give me direction, but no one ever did. I'll go with you, Pine Punch, if you let me carry the necklace. If I can help you cleanse the corruption from it, perhaps my aimless days will be ended. Alright, let's go. Your efforts to cleanse the evils from the corrupted necklace have returned you to the Forsaken Ship. See? It's just as I said. Whatever force gave life to the traps within these caverns has fled. Was it the spirit of the necklace, or some other power? Whatever it might have been, it's gone now. But I hear voices ahead. Who else has come down to this Forsaken Ship? No idea. Cutthroats! Cutthroats and villains! What are you doing here? Ah, Pine Punch. How's this for a turn of luck, boys? Kill the Brawler first! Alright. What's wrong with you slugs? No wonder Fernie kicked us out of the gang. Get them! Alright, so these are the people from the earlier class quests. Stop! Why are you doing this? I thought this ship might be my way back to Fernie's gang, stranger. But with Pine Punch hanging from the prow, it's sure to be. You can't take this ship. It's a place of evil. Oh, is that so? What's he talking about, Pine Punch? Well, why does this fellow say I shouldn't take this ship and go a-pirating? You briefly describe Uma's experience within the spirits of the necklace, which culminated with the Shade seizing control of the poor adventurer's body and turning him against his allies on the ship's deck, before the spirit was finally defeated and Uma freed from the influence. He can't have been completely freed, can he? Mao muses wryly. He came back here, didn't he? Are you certain the spirit was truly defeated? It sounds powerful. Well, always possible. How would you ever get this ship out of here, by the way? It's hidden in this cleft for so long, it's evil and disturbed. Should it not stay here, the trouble the rivers of the land no longer. Maybe I don't need the ship. Maybe I just need this! Lend me your evil! Come to me, spirit of the necklace! Hear me, O spirit! Give me your strength! Come to me, spirit! Tell me what to do! Bah! Lies! Maybe we shouldn't mess with such things like that, Mao. And the stranger's right. We can't get this ship out of here. Giving up, are you? How will you get back into Fernie's gang? Maybe we don't need to. The way I see it, he never cared for us. We were just a means to an end, weren't we? He was quick to toss us out, wasn't he? But what will you do now? Where will you go? You'll find a place stockworked if you try to do right by your men. What do you know about that? I know. I know how empty it can feel to lose direction. When the spirit's hold on me was gone, I thought I would never find that purpose again. But it wasn't my purpose. It never had been. So, are you saying you survived and that I will too? Is that supposed to inspire me? I can't claim that it will be easy, or that I have found it for myself. The necklace was a chain around my neck, and it bound me to a cruel master. With help, I was able to cast my necklace away. Will you do the same? Maybe they're right. What do we need to learn Fernie for? Banditry was always a losing game, and it never led to anything for so as much as us. What do you say? I'll think about it. I know not how this necklace came to the land of Mordor Pine Punch, but I am certain now that this is the very same artifact that caused me so much trouble and grief on the deck of this very ship. What servant of evil could have brought it to that place, and for what purpose? I cannot say, but this I know, the spirit of the necklace is well and truly gone. I feel its absence as strongly as I feel the wood and deck beneath my feet. Gone too is the corruption that enveloped this necklace as a result of its stay in the Black Land. I think it is fitting that you take it now, and make whatever use of it that you deem right. It no longer has any hold upon me, and I am left in peace at last. I hope Work and his fellows will find freedom from their own controlling spirit, men though they may be. Alright, thank you for the gift of the necklace, and I believe that Elrond of Rivendell will be able to imbue it with some good. Well, I hope so, friend. Go to Rivendell with my good wishes. What can Elrond do with this necklace? And how did this occasion bring him out of his library? Perhaps we'll find that out in the next episode of Piney Plays The Brawler.